My experience in the Escape Fake community was a real pleasure for me. I deeply value the chance of working together with other professionals and create meaningful educational resources for students to get a deeper understanding on digital phenomena.
It was really an interesting experience because normally I'm in the class and I teach the students some topics, and now it was a little bit mixed all together because I was part of the process but also teaching, and this gives me another perspective on how the student behaves in the class and what are the problems for them. I like the way you can dive deeper in a topic you haven't really done before.
One exercise I vividly remember was when we got to write down what we know about media and what younger people and older people know about it. So we got sticky notes, and then we got to categorize them and prioritize what's more important to us, and it was part of the prototyping phase, so it helped us figuring out which topics we want to touch with our game later.
It was quite interesting to see how each and everyone has a different perspective on those topics. Some had already problems in those topics and thus changed their behavior, and some are blissfully unaware, and that includes actually myself as well. So it's really interesting how those different topics impact each and everyone in a different way.
For me, it was interesting to learn about lo-fi and hi-fi prototypes and how to test games the proper way, I would say.
Our project is called Filter Bubbles, and you learn about the topic by playing through 2 levels. In the first level, you create a post for a specific topic, and there are multiple topics, but they always contrast each other because we want to show radicalization on opposite opinions. And in the second level, you will get shown 2 posts, and you like one of them, so you have to choose. Based on what you've chosen, you will get shown similar posts. So we basically created our own algorithm. We chose the topic because we're really interested in filter bubbles and radicalization. I like the prototyping, and like I said before, I really learned some vocabulary like deepfakes. I really didn't know that before.
We made a game this year about detecting deepfakes. The concept of the prototype is just that you look at some deepfakes and then you need to decide via different features if the picture you're seeing is made by a real photograph or if it's a deepfake. We chose deepfakes because I think in the modern world it's really hard to spot the deepfake. So I think we wanted to kind of put the focus of young students towards that and to really look into pictures and really try to understand, okay, if this is valuable information or no. I think we need to nowadays really look into what we see online and really get a feeling for how do we act on deepfakes, just in general with media literacy, how we kind of work our way around with the whole theme of believing or not believing something and having valuable information.
We've made a game where we are supposed to hack into an account from another person, and it is built like you have one main game and 2 other mini-games, and in the main game you have to hack yourself into the accounts, and in the mini-games you have to answer a question, and in the other one you should figure out a word what describes the pictures the best. We picked the topic of getting to know how you should build your password and why you should build it that way.
We created an interactive card game to support the gamers, the users, from fake escape to reflect what they have seen in the experience. So we have chosen this card game to discuss how they are affected when they are online and they consume misinformation and what are the risks there. And they have to discuss in the card game all the risks and how they are affected.
Our prototype is about you being a president in your own country. You need to try to solve different problems in your country, and take control over it, gain your control a little bit more. A secretarian comes in with different problems and you need to find solutions. There are 4 solutions already given and you need to choose the one which is the best for your country in terms of how much the people will notice it and how much it affects your state budget. And if you can do that without the people noticing it, the better. So if they don't really notice it, there won't be a lot of people against it. Therefore, the people will stay friendly in your country.
I really liked how in Escape Fake one acts against the instructions. So the lesson is not to follow blindly, but to think and to speak up. I had the feeling that the students were really interested in the topics and in discussing them.
As a teacher, it's cool to tell the students how it works, what is behind such an app. We already play this game at school and then I can tell the students what we do and the students, wow, cool.
It was really cool to also see the prototyping phase about developing a game, because we haven't had such things until now. It was a bit shorter than when you work in a company, but it was a really cool insight on what is expecting us when we step out of the school.
Our game is about finding out if social media profiles are real or fake. You could figure that out by looking at the profile picture or details in the bio, or by looking at posts. And then you can compare that with real info you have on a card. And that's something that's still in development, but you're supposed to scan the card with your phone. And then in the game, there's an interface for comparing the social media info with the info from your card. And then by comparing that, you can figure out if it's real or fake. Depending on what you find out, you can report those profiles, so they can get banned or verified.
Our prototype is a shooter game, but just more for children. It's about chatbots, and at the beginning you have a short description on what are chatbots and how to differentiate them from humans. And then there's the Insta profile, and the things that the people and the chatbot say will also refer to the Insta profile. And you have to decide if it's a chatbot or not. And some are really easy, like chatbot saying you want an iPhone, and it's really obvious. But some are a bit tricky and say something that really also could be a human. If you think it's a chatbot, you click on them, and if you think it's a human, you jump over them. And if it's right, you get 1 point, and if it's wrong, you get 1 point minus. So I think everyone faces it on the internet, especially on social media, and also for the children that get social media the first time, they often don't know what chatbots are and maybe click on the links because they don't know it better, and we really want to educate them about it.
We want to explain to people of any age how deepfakes work, what deepfakes actually are, and how they are made and how you can detect them. So it is a multiple choice quiz. We chose deepfakes because we found it interesting and we were like, let's get deeper into the theme, and this was the right opportunity to really do a big research about the theme and get to know every aspect of it.
We created a variation of the game Black Stories. Black Stories is a game where you need at least 2 participants. One is the narrator and the others are the players. The narrator gets a card with a short blink, a short introduction, what the scenario is, and he also gets the full information what transpired in the scenario. The players only get the short explanation, the blink, and have to figure out what happened in the scenario. For that, they can ask yes and no questions to the narrator and have to figure it out. And we made those kind of scenarios specifically designed for data privacy.
Our prototype is about a game called Filter Bubbles. It's a setting where everyone lives inside their own filter bubble and echo chamber, until one day the main character enters a media library and finds a specific artifact that lets him see the truth, which he can then decide to unveil to everyone. We chose this topic to show the importance of taking in different perspectives. For me personally interesting was definitely the research of the topic. It's quite a familiar topic, but finding specifics on especially scientific research has proven not the easiest. Other than that, it was working on the prototype itself, as we expected it to be easy at the start, but implementing certain aspects has changed that. Luckily, we have Stack Overflow and other communities of programmers that know how to use Unity better than I. And yeah, that has been proving a good learning curve and fun.
I think one of the main challenges in teaching media literacy is making complex principles tangible and relatable for younger people. Many of these systems are invisible or even very abstract.
It's a fast-moving field because of the fast-paced technological development. So it's hard to prepare our students for something I'm not aware is going to happen in 6 months or a year. So I can't prepare them for the future in this sense. So for me, I would like or try to focus on strengthening the critical thinking of our students and the reflective behavior.
One key takeaway I want to carry with me is that misinformation can be widespread and is difficult to really spot on. So sometimes it's not always obvious.
I already know about a lot of things that come to the media literacy part on social media, but we still need to be reminded to those. So it was important to actually have those presentations about those things, because we then got our memory refreshed, and it just was interesting to watch how much they already are present in our lives.
I think what the students and myself are taking away from Escape Fake is that many topics are connected to each other, they're linked.
One key insight I had during the semester is realizing the importance of participatory spaces in teaching media literacy and in media education in general. When young people bring in their own experience and perspectives, they feel seen, and the whole learning process becomes more equal and also empowering.